Hello everybody, what's up? How is life? Cracking. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I should do the intro, shouldn't I? What's the intro? I say it so fast now. And I've just got a notification that I've gone live on my phone. How weird. Firstly, hello everybody in chat. Let me do the intro. So, what's the intro? Hello everybody, Anne here from Glass Half Dead. Oh, I forgot it. What do I say? Oh, right, okay. Let's try again. Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the #1 Kill Team channel on YouTube, unless of course you are aware of any other Kill Team channel on YouTube, in which case, don't look into it. Thanks. And don't mention it. Thank you. Hi, what's up everybody? Hey, you know what we get? Because it's a live stream though, we get a big subscriber only benefit. And because it's a live stream, that's also if you've liked the video only benefit and left a message in chat telling me what you're doing tonight. I assume hobby, what's the hobby? And that is a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome. Isn't a wholesomeness? No, that's not right. The wholesomeness truly knows no bounds in the world of Glass Half Dead. What is a double pleasantry? What's a pleasantry that's given to you twice? Okay, cool. All right, done. All right, hello everybody. What's up in chat? I've got a slightly different setup today from my perspective. Well, no, from your perspective as well. I normally have myself down here looking at me on the live streams, but not today. I also don't have any Coke. I've only got just a litre of water. What decadent times we live in, hey? Right, let's catch up with chat. This might be a slightly shorter one than normal because I do have to go and... I have to wake up at 2:30. That's when I've set my alarm for. 2:30 is genuinely, I might not go to sleep. Or at least it used to be when I was a younger man. Now, yeah, I should go to sleep. Or maybe I'll play Claire Obscure Expedition 33 until 2 in the morning. Hello Kaz, how's it going? Absolutely love this title and thumbnail. Yep, still not talking about Typhon, although I do have it up here. To clarify, we have it behind us. Here we go, if you want to read Warcom's article today. That's why I'm in a slightly different position. I'm actually starting to get tempted to buy, or try to buy, yeah, more accurately, try to buy Typhon. I know I'd play the Tyranids by spending most of the time underground. You know what? You could play Tyranids, like, in protest and just stay in the ground for the whole game, presumably. I also imagine you'll lose if you do that, but protest vote, right? Typhon looks like it's for folks with extra wrinkly brains from Tabletop Impulse there. Well, we don't truly know yet, but for sure the whole network counteract thing, or whatever it's called, from the Battle Clade sounds interesting. And until we know the full deets on how Tunnel works, I don't know if that's a wrinkly one, though. I don't think that Raveners can be two big brain plays, because if they are big brain, they'll probably be too strong. Much as we found with Warp Coven, you can have a team that is strong on the data sheets, but if you give it a bunch of shenanigans, it's going to suck to play. So there you go. And we can see that Raveners are strong on the data sheets. We don't quite know what a 5-model team is going to feel like, but yeah. Aloha to Eddie, indeed. Hope you had a good weekend, Andy. Looking forward to some Monday night wholesomeness and shenanigans. That's me, nothing but wholesomeness and shenanigans. I'm currently working on some hobby that I'm going to be quizzing the chat about, but I see that I have a super chat. I don't know how to reach it. Let's see what it says. It's from GG Easy Prince, of course, the man that you should all go and check out if you want to check out some of the awesome, what's it called? Equipment. Yes, he's just sent me my own... I don't have them with me, they're upstairs. But the extendable movement widgets, that's the word, which I actually really like. I think they look really cool. And if I do say so myself, the particular colour of my logo, as it's printed out, I think looks really good, that blue and black, you know. And also, thank you for £20. What a ledge. Definitely go buy your gear from that Etsy shop. And you can get 10% off if you use my code. He does great stuff. I say it every time because I have to, but I cannot stress that genuinely, since he sent me the all-in-one travel case, that is how I move all of my models. And now, I never forget my dice tray. That's the key. He could have just sent me a dice tray that was stapled to the back of my head, and I would have said, oh, this is amazing too. But if it works, it works. So thank you so much there. Oh my gosh. Back to back, we've then got Brian with the $5. You imagine Raveners would lose staying in the ground the whole time. That sounds like something someone that knows the rules would say. So I just, we've seen the burrow rule, and we've seen how you draw a tunnel. We just haven't seen anything that implies one ever has to burrow. It's not a mandatory action, because then they would just be 3 APL teams, a 2 APL team, and burrow would be a free action. I'm just drawing the dots. I'm drawing the logical conclusions in the same way that you will draw a tunnel on the board, I imagine. Connecting the dots. Back to the chat. Thank you so much to both of you. Evil Bear Skirmish, I have a wrinkly brain. Good for you, my sir. You may continue having that. I don't think my brain could compute tunnels. I had to read tunnels and burrow. It's a big page. I had to read it several times before I truly understood what was happening. Oh, and it's Hydratus Dominatus. I'm wearing the right t-shirt today, but I will obviously drink to that, my good sir. Thank you very much. Hydratus Dominatus to all. Miko says a hi all. Hi to you. What are you hobbying? True, I can see one breaking the tunnel rules. Yeah, maybe. If those were the full rules, maybe. Kaz, oh, we've skipped. We've jumped. I've lost everything. Great. Those of you that don't stream don't know the terrible UI that streamers have to deal with to read chat. It's the worst thing in the world. Anyway, moving on. Oh, I've got to scroll up away. Good luck parking at the airport. Thank you. I will need it. But I actually pre-booked the silver whatever parking thing. So I'm actually dropping my car off for the 4 days I'm away for, which I've never done before. So we'll see how that goes. Count Poro, everyone just chilling. Afternoon, Brian. Hello, hello. CT, hello. Brewster, how's it going? From your insentient friend. Indeed, good. Now we know that's a word, I suppose. Lumpy Willy says meow. What a delightful name and contribution. Thank you, thank you. Can you spend all game underground if you are not liking your opponent? I think it's a good way to protest play. Yeah, if you just like, yeah, I suppose. I did say the thing, that is true. CT. Jim, hello, hello. Hey guys, hey Glass, stop hating us advert players. We're half people too. So obviously I have the box. I've had it for some time. It's all fully painted, ready to go. The one thing I will say is that I got the AdMech, which I still can't show you, obviously. And I liked the team more than I thought I would. I will say that. I will say that, good sir. I will say that. I had no interest going into it. Obviously, I was going to play them for battle reports and to learn stuff. But yeah, a more interesting team and a more fun team than I thought they would be. I'm not really an APL2 guy, as you know. But anyway, I shan't say too much because we're not talking about Typhon in this stream, as the thumbnail and title clearly say. But they were less of a letdown than I thought they would be. That's the best way to phrase it, I think. Doing D&D prep is a lot like homework. UK Games Expo 2026. I'm not quite ready to commit to that. I struggle to plan my life beyond about a week. So play that one by ear. Already got your hobby in for today. Lovely. Bit more progress on your Seraphon. Man, Seraphon are such good models. I'm currently painting some orcs myself, as you may have seen. And yeah, the very nice Iron Jaws models. I should probably show you them, shouldn't I? As I'm talking about them now. I'll very quickly show you them. So I've decided to do red skin orcs. And the really interesting thing here is, as you're looking at the screen, as you no doubt are at this point, as I've drawn your attention to something worth looking at. And I'm colorblind, right? I'm red-green colorblind. And so what I believe you see is a really bright, vibrant red. I don't. To me, that red is very desaturated. It's very dull, brown. And likewise, the green doesn't really look green to me. It's more yellow. I can kind of tell it's green, but it doesn't jump out at me. The main colour on this orc is the silver. There you go. We'll come back to this, but that's what I'm currently working on. All right, because I have some Iron Jaws models lying around since I was able to get my hands on like cheap ones of them. So I have 30 Iron Jaws models lying around, and I just so happen to have a box of looters burners. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'll do some kit bashes, and obviously all I've done is a head swap and an arm swap, and that's it. And you might be wondering, oh, how does he do that? I just get my clippers and I just hack away at things until things fit. What more do you need to do? And anyway, I'm quite liking how these bad boys are turning out. I think that the red skin is going to be a little bit less divisive among people compared to my blue and yellow orcs from before. So that's what I've been doing today. Can't hobby tonight as I've lost the sight of my good eye. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that. How dare I ask? Tonight, painting the final leg of the exaction squad. Technically, I just need one more subductor, but I have 4 more warriors, so I'll paint 4 warriors. Makes sense. Love to hear it. I'm working on doing a poor job of it as I ignore my work for the #1 kill team. That is the way to do it. Working? What a bootlicker. How dare you? Don't do that. Working and doing... hi, Addy. I'm painting base rims. Nobody said the word rim job. A shame. I'll throw it in there. Fair enough. You know what I just bought? You know what oh, hobby time. So I just picked up these Pro Marker brushes from Winsor & Newton. They are the same as these AK Interactive. You've probably heard of this type of thing, right? AK Interactive brush markers, right? This is the same thing, but it's not aimed at gamers like AK Interactive. It's aimed at, artists. And I picked this up, and I think I made a fundamental mistake in that I got the Winsor & Newton, the brush, what are they called? The Pro Marker brush. The Pro Marker brush is alcohol based. It's not really the same as a marker, so the markers, oh god, and Winsor & Newton do these. I just didn't buy the right one. These require a light base color to paint over, whereas the normal markers can paint over black as well. This comes out very muted unless you have a white kind of base to work on. Anyway, I will now confirm I have tried an AK Interactive marker. I've tried a Winsor & Newton marker. And I have tried a Sharpie. The Sharpie still covers the base rim just fine. There you go. So everybody out there saying, oh, you're painting with a Sharpie. Ugh. The Sharpie's legit the same as the others. There you go. I had to get it out there. I apologize. Right. Moving on. But now that I have the good things, I'll stick with them, I guess. Why do servitors get no love? I mean, they could have been so much more interesting, right? El Pori Pokemon, Mr. Sexy Dude, sup mate, hello, Mr. Sexy Chatter, how's it going? Give me the tip to get them girlies at the Kill Team tournament. Well, first there have to be girls there. And that's where we run into the first issue. So, you're not really having a Kill Team problem, you're having a, It's alright, mate. It's alright. Top Keck. Love the name. That's... I'm going to bring back my orcs. So this orc is obviously Fel Orc inspired by Warcraft 3. The red skin, the green energy. It's a Fel Orc. That's what I based a little bit of them on. Love it. Love some Warcraft. Top Keck. Much love, Andy. Kit bashing the old Necron Space Marine starter into the Hyrotech Circle kill team. Do you mean Pariah Nexus? Perhaps? Me watching mid-sized melee teams get a new hideously bad matchup. Can't talk about it. Fair enough. Good afternoon, Andy. Hello, Kiwi Commander. Glad you now have a... Yes, I managed to figure that out. It turns out all the big YouTubers already use them. Like Auspex Tactics, Chapter Master Valrak, they all use this place. So how did I not know about them before? You know? Anyway. Squigs. Girls love squigs. Girls do love squigs. They also love Tyranids. Normally, apart from Kaz. I do apologise. Don't you feel like the meta is buying the newest box? It worked for Gormongs and Sanctifiers. It seems Raveners are super meta. Do they? Why do Raveners seem super meta at this point? Before we know what's up with them. I mean, what you're asking is there power creep? Firmly no, in my opinion. Like, look at how much Hivestorm and both teams in Hivestorm had to be... Like, they've gone through several rounds of buffs. And then we had Wreckers and Rattlings, who... Rattlings need buffs. Wrecker need help on Into the Dark, but otherwise they're fine. Yes, unfortunately our latest boxes are looking a touch questionable. Or at least the Sanctifiers and the Goremongers, they're both going to get nerfs. Seems pretty clear. And obviously, well, we don't know that about the next teams yet. We don't know. I will say that the Warcom articles are always very... I think they do genuinely give you a pretty solid... Like, if we had leaks now, this week, which is when I expect leaks to come out, because that's what happened last time, there's really not that much more to learn about the teams. Like, you've learned their core mechanic. Obviously, you're going to get the actual wording of that core mechanic, so you can start to look at the real crevices, the nooks and the crannies on it, and start to figure out how to break it. But ultimately, you kind of know what the team is already. Much as we did for Goremongers and Sanctifiers last time. But no, I'm not yet ready to say that there's actual power creep. I think there's just balance. And sometimes they hit it, sometimes they don't. I genuinely do not think that they are trying to make people buy the latest box. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Yeah. Also happy tonight's the kill team. Meet up playing Vespid tonight. Love some Vespid. You know what I don't love? Hitting on 4s. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Ian, hello, hello. Good to see you, my man. Getting some hobby on with the Death Guard. Love to hear it. CT and Kaz having fun together. Love to see it. Kaz has a delightful cake channel, which of course, if you're into cakes, you should love. The only cake I'm into is my girlfriend's cake, but that's fine. Want to kit bash a squig team. But they're too small to be anything without staying on a big hill. So actually, I can answer this one, or guide you perhaps. CT, so there is a guy that did a squig team. It was actually a squig rider team, not just squigs. I will say to that one. But yeah, the guy took them to Warhammer World, and they were Kroot Farstalkers. So they had the Kroot Farstalker weapons, and they were grots holding those weapons on squigs. There you go. So live your dream. Anybody that's telling you like, oh, that wouldn't be accepted at a tournament, Warhammer World accepted mental, absolutely mental, like squig proxies, conversions. They were proxies, yeah. So go for it. Live to your heart's desire. Jodin, what is up, my man? Sup here for the yapping about Battle Clay. Definitely not the nids. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I love a good yap. I'm not sure how much I'm going to say about the Battle Clay. I like the paint scheme I've done on them. There you go. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for free. Although I'm not a huge fan of the Servitor models, as we've all seen, I like the paint scheme I did on them. There you go. You're welcome. Saw someone use squigs as the equipment optives. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. That's very cool, actually. That's a really good one, isn't it? Because you can't buy the Gellerpox, but they're still a legal team. And those big hulks are on 40mm bases, and they're tall. That'd be a really fun team to proxy as orcs, actually. So is spending the whole game underground considered a dirty protest? I think so, right? Assuming you can do it. You're playing the game, but got your copy pre-ordered. Is that because you're in Italy? Somebody was leaving comments in my YouTube video, that's the word, talking about for some reason in Italy you're able to pre-order from the moment it gets announced on the Sunday, which we can't do. So in England, you can't do that. You have to wait until pre-order. I feel like it's something to do with, like, you can register interest, but you can't actually lock in a pre-order, is my understanding in the UK. Do you paint the minis GW sends you or someone else does? No, 100% me. I've said this a few times, Poor Pokemon, but I feel like I am morally obligated to paint every kill team model that I get sent. Even though sometimes, normally they will just end up on a thumbnail and that's it, I never show them again. But they are all here behind me. This is every team painted, right? Which is 6,085 points of 40k. There you go. I had to do the maths earlier because I had to do that for a reel. 6,085 points if you have every model for kill team. Are you taking any KT to Poland? Spread the good KT word. No, unfortunately, I'm not actually there for that long this time. I'm only there, like, I'm back here on Saturday. I'm not even missing a live stream. So, no, I shall be just chilling. Just chilling. Copies, but Typhon is needing to be talked about. Does it need to be talked about? Is there anything to say? You know? Hello to Tundar. Daniel Green, barely late this week. Been waiting for more Typhon info. Yes, I'm sure that's what I'm going to talk about in this stream. But luckily, I already smashed out 2 videos today about it. Hydratus Dominatus. And then Jay, my girlfriend, says, hello everyone. Hi babe, sorry I'm late. Neb kept me occupied. Yes, because she is sick at the moment, which is great, because I'm meeting her tomorrow. There you go. Red Orcs, very Burning Crusade. I see what you did. Yes, that's right. Tabletop Impulse. I knew any true gamer would instantly see the Fell Orc inspired. I will say, if I crack it back open to this Fell Orc here, this skin I accept is red, but if I look at the Fell Orcs from Warcraft in Burning Crusade, their skin doesn't look red to me. It just looks like brown. So, as I am trying to do this red-green orc, man, I am really coming up to the limits of my colorblindness, I've got to say. Yeah, I'm really struggling with this. I'm having to run everything past normal, you damn normies, because I don't know what you guys are seeing at all, and I'm definitely seeing something very different, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's fine. I'm struggling through. I've been trying to figure out whether I need a 50mm, 60mm field herd pick and pluck using the 40mm for scale. It's a pain in the arse. You have to order them from Europe, otherwise I'd wait for models. Hello. Firstly, hello, Leak Speaks. Secondly, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Okay, yeah. I don't know what you're saying. The Raveners look very strong. I really hope they aren't OPs. I'm hoping to play them on release. I think we should all be playing Raveners. They're Tyranids. They're awesome. They are elites. They're the most elite team. We're going to be seeing them, a lot of them, I think, regardless of their power level. Purely because they are the fewest number of models, therefore logically the lowest mental load. And they're Tyranids, and everybody loves Tyranids. There you go. Without exception, that is an objectively true statement. Thank you. The curse of an artist. The colours are beautiful, yet you can't fully enjoy it. Well, true. Work is for servitors. Yes, true. Dai Lee. I've got some Brood Brothers in front of me. Magus is almost done, but I still need to prime 12 of them, including the Big Daddy Patriarch. I've got my boys right behind my head. Right here. My Brood Brothers, you see them? Mad lads. I have 2 Brew Brother teams. Identical. Why? I don't know. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. The only hub I've done is a single Legionary. Do you mean ever? But it was the last one. It was an Alpha Legionnaire Plasma Gun, a mid-transformation into a Deathwatch Ultramarine. Oh, excellent. Absolutely fire. I love it. I don't know if I said it on the live stream last week, but that is obviously because I have the, like, that's the scheme for my Hydratus Dominatus logo. Yeah, that is exactly the army that I would want to build. The Alpha Legion crossed with Deathwatch army. And then, of course, because I'm all about maximizing things, I would want that model to be legal for both the Chaos Space Marine army and the 40k Space Marine army, right? Good luck. Good luck, Andy. Well done. Good luck. Yeah. Usha Boy 29, love non-standard all colours. I recently did a box of Magcar orange brown beast snaggers. Lovely. Now you see, Usha, that would be completely lost on me. I would look at those and they would look like normal orcs to me. Genuinely. This is the issue I'm butting up with here. Handy, if you've got to play path for a joint up mission, which guys would you take? So you mean only half the team? You've got to have the drone controller and you've got to have 2 drones. That's a basic one right there. I guess you really want to have your leader so you can do some, your Monk Car or your Calyon. Then you definitely want your Blooded because he's got a silent weapon, and you want your Marksman because he's got a silent weapon. Yeah, after that, season to taste. Whatever floats your boat. I'm not really sure. There you go. I've never given too much thought to kind of the best operatives to take for joint ops, to be honest. Last edition, I made Legionaries. Oh. Stephen Williams. I messaged last week as I'm building some terrain. I'm trying to spread out my questions to you. You can ask them all if you want. Chat takes a while. Can I ask about vantage points? How many different vantage points do you think a kill zone should have? You think vantage points that require 4 or 5 inch climb give unfair advantage to high mobility teams? So if I were to be creating my own custom terrain, at the moment what I would do is I would look at Volcus and I would essentially try to copy that. I'm not saying that you should copy it exactly, but they have done a lot of things in regards to placement of terrain that makes scoring TAC ops doable. And that is actually one of the biggest things about creating your own maps. I don't really have an issue. In the past, yes, I would have had an issue with the 5 inch climb vantage points. I think if you want to build them to look cool, you should, and just say you can't use this. That's the way to go with that. But I don't like them myself. And in my opinion, I reckon if the designers felt they could get away with it, they would say you can't use this top of the Volcus Stronghold, I reckon. So probably, yeah, if you're not sold on it, if you're playing for purpose or building for purpose, then I'd say don't build that high. But yeah. Yes, as CT says, there are teams with a 5 inch move. They literally cannot get there. Bake cookies. Love to hear it. I'm not a cookie guy. I've got to say, got to be honest with you, not a cookie guy. I'm very particular when it comes to my carbs. Obviously, I've got the old sugar aids, as I like to call it. And because of that, if I'm going to have sugar, carbs, it's going to be the best carbs. So a cookie's out. I like a good scone. Can't go wrong with that. A cinnamon bun is also quite the pleasure for me. There you go. Or fish and chips with just all the salt and vinegar. Yeah. On Power Creep, if the servitors turn out to be really powerful meta fellows, it'll be incredibly funny. They might be. It will definitely be interesting to see how these two teams play into... Because they're going to release, and then like a month later or something, we're going to get the nerfs to the previous teams, right? And if these two teams are strong, and then Sanctifiers and Goremongers both take nerfs, then we're going to have to start talking about power creep in a slightly more real way, aren't we? But of course, we don't know if they're strong or not yet. I think that with an elite team, like Raveners, the most elite team, you really can't judge them until you've put them on the board. In the same way I'd say that about Space Marines, right? Like, their stats are just so much better than anything else that just looking at those stats, you're like, oh, that's obviously very good. But how does it actually play? Is it beatable? Has Kill Team just become rock, paper, scissors, and you better hope you've taken the rock if they've taken the scissors? Don't know. Seems like GW increased terrain in next box. Yes, definitely. That's why it costs more, Benjamin. We know it's costing £100 now, whereas normally it costs £80. Endtime Heresy says, hi there. Hello. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. Enjoy your evening too, Endtime Heresy. If Raveners are OP, we could just self-nerf by keeping one octave underground. That is a thing you could do. Maybe that's actually the play. Maybe there's reasons to keep octaves underground. I don't know. Maybe. Rosso Gary, I liked your idea of jump pack intercessor proxies for the NID team. Do you think the silhouette is too small? Should I slap the jump pack on a Terminator or Centurion? It's a tough one. So as I said earlier, I don't know if you were here, I was talking about the guy that took Squig Riders as Farstalker Kimband, the Kroot, to Warhammer World. And I saw the judge come round and like he just looked and said, oh, those are really cool. And that's it. Were the silhouettes correct? No. The bases were. Silhouettes? Completely wrong. Nobody cares. It's interesting how Warhammer World is, as long as it's a GW model, plastic, like, they'll let you do almost anything there. Obviously, their tournament pack is written relatively strict, and it does say in there, like, no proxies, basically. But, like, if you take it to the day, they will not stop you from putting anything on the table. So, I'd say do whatever you want. There you go. And just, you know, play, give yourself the disadvantage to any rules. Battleclade APL swapping seems very fun, but maybe annoying to play against. I love that the Underseer seems like a pseudo Pathfinder drone controller. Yes. It will definitely be interesting to see how people feel both of the teams shake out after a few weeks with them. Epic Cheese TV, I woke up one more and said to myself, done doing this pre-order scramble and expensive prices. I sold all 4 of my 2K.9s and picked up a bunch of War Machine. Wow, big man, big man. Of course, this is my War Machine shelf here. That's all the Signar Gravediggers. And then this is, oh, you can't see it, but this is my Archangel, my action figure, and some other War Machine up there. I do like some War Machine, I can't lie. It's a lot more points than I thought. Yes, well, maybe I was off by like a few hundred, but I counted it to 6,085. My God, I am so far behind chat. I said that ages ago. I'm gonna have to hurry up. Your flask is too small. I agree. It's only a litre. Cringe, right? I'm going to die of dehydration imminently. I am going to Poland this week. I fly. I have to leave this. I'm waking up at 2:30 in the morning to make this drive. I hate it already. Penny minis and being colourblind seems really rough. Yes, that's why I always go with controversial schemes, shall we say, because they look good and bright, and that's what I like. Because basically, with colourblindness, you just see everything muted and less. So even though I'm not blue colorblind, I will still see a blue to you as duller and all closer to the middle. So that's why my things are generally quite bright, so they look good to me. Which luckily also means they are very visible on camera, so I'm cool with it. But yeah, choosing to do a red orc with green glows. What am I doing? I don't even know how to make colors work against the red. Yeah. Red and the green are pretty strong. Looks like it's working to me. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Joe. I don't want to come off condescending, but you are aware that there are also friendly brown orcs in the Burning Crusade. I didn't know there were brown orcs. I'm sorry, you've taken it too far. I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. The Warcraft orcs are a reddish brown. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. If they're reddish brown and I struggle to see red, then logically they are brown. Right? If you just remove, if you think, oh, purple, that's a really bright purple. What's purple? It's blue and red. Remove the red. That's what I see. I see purple as blue. It's just a darker blue to me. I don't see the red in it. There you go. Lovely. I miss the brown orcs. Yes, ooh, two Brew Brothers. You spoil us, so yes. Greetings and salutations. Hello, Major Tom. I realise I'm quite far behind. I apologise for the delay. It's been like 15 minutes. Jesus. Question, since you are colourblind, how to figure out a colour scheme on your minis? Do you get assistance from Jay when picking? No. My girlfriend is frustratingly unhelpful. I've had to say, like, no. You need to actually say, do you like it? You can't just be positive. I need to actually know if it looks good or not. We're still working on it. No, I pick all of the colour schemes myself, generally. I will normally paint a model and then ask just my channel, whatever, hey, is this any good? To get their take on it. But in general, I paint to what is good to my eyes. And I'm pretty comfortable with with the colours I like. The reason I've asked so many times about the red orc is because I cannot see the red. It just looks like a muted brown. It looks like a dark brown, right? That's why I've asked so many times. Dye is jamming some cookies in the oven. Typhon finally, after all this time, it's taken some time. It's taken some time. Yeah, it got announced before Blood and Zeal. I can't remember when that was. What's with the crowns? Oh, Major Tom is learning. Yeah, we don't know. It's weird. I can turn it off, I think, but I don't know how. I see people getting tired of the FOMO in Warhammer. Yeah, I can see that. It is grueling. The grind, the 3-year cycle is tough. Yes, you truly have to say to yourself, well, you just have to discipline yourself and accept that you will not have everything and pick your battles. If you can do that, then like if you collect 40k and you collect orcs, you have one purchase every 3 years. That's it, you know. Hello GHD, love your content. Hello DS, thank you. Your YT videos are a blessing whenever they pop up for me. You're too kind, sir. Thank you very much. I will give you Hydratus Dominatus for that, sir. Major Tom is of course correct. The Assault Grenadier is also mandatory for the Pathfinders. Sorry, I meant I was trying to work out thickness of Ravener models. Ah, yes. Their pictures using their 40mm bases for thickness so I can buy the correct foam tray. Oh, right. I will say, if you watch my proxy video, and I would like to stress, I made that before I had the models. That was genuine guesswork. I would not be able to make that video if I had the models. So that was all legitimate me guessing. I think I actually got things really, really accurate. The specific model that I referenced was Shrike. Where's he? Okay. Shrike is on a 40mm base, and the way I sized it up was by using the Volcus ruins. This was a very good guess. I obviously can't tell you precisely, but I was pretty spot on, it turns out. So there you go. Something food for thought, if you will. Mark McLean, yo, hello. Mark, my old Kill Team play partner there. In my head, he only ever ran Khorne Demons, but he probably played other things too, but I literally can't remember anything else. But yeah. 0 vantage points is a legitimate number. That is very true. That is very true. If you were to buy a box with a friend, how much of the box you would pay for AdMech Team? Ooh, that is a good question. I actually do not know. Oh my god, I've almost caught up with chat. So, the Ravener thickness, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. We can kind of work things out backwards. We know that every kill team costs £40, basically. It's between... Is anything 35? I don't think it is. I think it's 37.50 is the cheapest kill team, up to 45, basically. So they're probably going to be £40. That is the retail cost of the team. You figure it out. Of course, the reason you buy the big boxes so much is because you do get a discount naturally. It's actually quite a tough one, because the Tyranids get so much, including the Hormigants, as we know, and the terrain. So if you're only taking the AdMech, it's like, Making a note of cinnamon buns. Good shout. The cookies are for the kids. Nice. So, I've had one ages ago in Ukraine when I was there, actually. But obviously there's a chain, an American chain called Cinnabon. I haven't had one since I've become a connoisseur of pastries. But I would love to try a Cinnabon now. Yeah. I feel like it would destroy me, like from the sugar aids, but I would like to try that. Sainsbury's do the most amazing cinnamon buns. I think it's called Sainsbury's knows what it's doing with the marketing. Very nice. I actually forgot I also played a game of Kill Team. Tried Sanctifiers for... Oh, they were strong. I won against Aquilons, but I probably won't play them often because they're too OP. Interesting. So, okay. Alright. Alright. I have still yet to play Sanctifiers, because when they dropped, I painted them. I just have no interest. Both them and the Goremongers, I didn't play either of them. I've played against the Goremongers since, but yeah. Joden says, I'm loving the look of that Nid terrain, but I think it'll end up being 40k terrain and won't use it for KT unless the rules are really fun. That's fair. That's fair. Luke Maroney. Heyo, Andy. Heyo, Luke. Loved the video today. Super excited to get some Phyrexian Raveners. What's Phyrexian? Am I going to have to Google that? It's a cool word, so I'm going to find out what Phyrexia means. Ah. Interesting. Magic the Gathering. Okay. It's an artificial plane of mechanical and biomechanical life. I would say, I think that I mentioned it in the video, the Necron Ophidian destroyers, whatever they're called, I can't remember what they're actually called, may be a really good base to begin those on, unless of course you're just 3D printing, right? Oh gosh. Jump packs are back on the menu. You know it. You know it. I never played at Warhammer World. Do you think they'd be okay with GW mods with third party? Oh yes, no, they would. Yeah, they don't mind 3D printed bases. 100%. I've taken 3D printed bases. They wouldn't even notice. Yeah, they're honestly, the online, like the tournament pack, the official written down rules for Warhammer World are really strict. The 3 dudes that run it are super chill. I reckon they'd let you take anything as long as it's not actually a competitor's model. Don't quote me on that, but you could do bases. Definitely paint to look good to you. They're your models and you should be liking the look of them. So CT, you're correct, but I get inspired by other media, right? Like, I'm doing this because I like World of Warcraft, and I was doing Iron Jaws, who are of course Age of Sigmar, which is the fantasy version of orcs from GW, but I wanted to just make cooler looking orcs, so I just stuck gun arms on them. And then I thought, oh well, I don't want to do just green orcs, and I didn't want to do my blue orcs again. So what am I going to do? Well, a logical answer is white, but honestly, every other army I have is white. So I'm like, you know what? I could have done flesh. I was thinking just hulked out flesh orcs, but then I was like, no, let's pay tribute to the game that began it all, World of Warcraft, right? Well, Warcraft 3, sorry, that's where the fell orcs originate. And like, let's do red and green orcs. So I'm copying something else. Yeah, there you go. So is what it is, is what it is. I just don't have the technical skill to truly copy it well. But that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's not going to make me get better at painting. That's not the purpose. Let's be clear on that. Have you ever done a live Kill Team game on stream? Yes. But I couldn't tell you when. So I'm going to say no. But I must have. Maybe I haven't. I have definitely recorded games that could have been live. But I might not have actually done them live. I might have just recorded them. Maybe. But either way, they were a long time ago. Would you run AOD with Heresy era models? Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Why wouldn't you? Ravener Thickness was worried about how horny you wanted to turn out it's me. No. That was said. And I think we all know what was meant at that point. Indeed. But this is a child-friendly show. That's not true. That's not true. But we can dream. I think actually, I hate to be a buzzjoy, but they're snakes. And I don't think they have anything to be thick, if you know what I mean, you know? I can't say I've paid much attention looking at those models for that purpose, but you might be let down. You might be let down, is all I'm saying. Oh yes, the Neurolictor was thick though, that is true, yeah. I still don't have the Neurolictor. I should have bought it just for the memes, yeah. Hope people don't want the services. Genuinely, I think you're going to be able to get hold of those really easily. Yeah. Okay, thanks, man. Fortunately, do own a Raven Guard army, so off to measure Shrike. Yes. Smart. Again, put him next to Volkus. Put him next to that terrain, because it was one of those bits of terrain, the strongholds, that I was measuring to. Because we see in the promotional art, of the models, we do see a Ravener next to a piece of Volkus stronghold. GK Paladins is a proxy for Raveners, but I don't think the rules would feel good from what we have seen. It's an interesting one. So, I agree with you, and I had started to, or I have planned out, but I'm waiting for 3D printed bits to turn up, to do a similar one. I'm going to do the standard Aquilon, Custodian Aquilons to do Paladins, just doing a shoulder swap, shoulder pad swap and a head swap, maybe a weapon swap to do the same thing, because they're big things, right? The Aquilon Terminators are big, and they're on 40s, and we now know Raveners are on 40s. Yeah, but go and put one of them next to this guy. You know, this guy's real tall. But also, I would say, and again, I say it in this proxy video where I was guessing, this is your tallest guy. We don't get to see the other Raveners next to the tallest guy, or next to any piece of terrain. Maybe some of them will be okay, but then others you'll have to like have their arm up in the air to give you that extra bit of height or something. But either way, GK Paladins are awesome. Pass on Cinnabon, really? I'm sad to hear it. Is it just sugar? What's against it? You mean a Neurothictor? Hell yeah. Love it. Let's get that Neurothicusy. Am I right? Neurocussy? I don't know. Yeah. Lictor? I hardly knew her. I was about to recommend a pastry, but then realised it's from a chain that's incredibly local to me. Never mind. It's raspberry and pistachio. If I'm honest, raspberry and pistachio sounds horrifying to me. But, I mean, you never know. But that sounds terrifying. I already pre-ordered the Typhon box from local GameStop, but I haven't even finished Brutal and Cunning. But obviously, like the rest of the world, you skipped Blood and Zeal, so you'll be fine, don't worry. TY for the Discord advisory AOD team. I ignored it and bought the Star set, but was all good advice. Okay, well, Happy to help, Alan. No problem. Anytime, anytime. Luke, yes, caught up to that. God of Legos. Ooh. True champion in our midst. I was thinking about getting either the Sanctifiers or the Godmongers when they release separately. Any recommendation on which one to choose? Whichever one you think looks cooler. They're both going to get nerfed. So ignore the rules for now, because they're going to change in a month's time, in a month and a half time. And just go with whichever team you think looks cool. Or, if you're like me, look at them and think, which one might you potentially start a 40k army of and buy that one? Feed the addiction, you know? Spot on with the Necron unit name, by the way. Ophidian Destroyers do look like a good match. Ah, good, good. I know people who semi-regularly play Grimdark Future at Warhammer World using GW minis. Nobody bats an eyelid. What was this? Absolute random aside. This is just slowing me down from catching up with chat. But I have a local game night. Like, group of people. It's my local thing. It's on Wednesdays. It's called Wednesday Night Gamers. There's like a Facebook group, and they all play. And a new person joined the chat, you know, saying, "Oh, can I it's been a while since I've been there, but new person joined, and I'm still in there, so I still see their stuff." And he said, "Hey everybody, looking to play some games. New to the area, very standard. I play 40k and Age of Sigmar. Anybody interested?" Cool. Very normal message. First response is like, "Oh yeah, those aren't my games, but you know, yes, this is the right chat to ask in." Cool. Everybody else, for multiple messages, was like, "Oh, I'll teach you," and then they just listed other games. And like, the guy didn't say he was open to playing other games or learning other games. He said, I'm interested in playing 40k and Age of Sigmar. They're like, "Oh, we could do one-page rules. It's a really good rule set, and I'll teach you that. Or we could do Trench Crusade, or we could do Adeptus Titanicus, or we could do it." It's like, and I'm there, I'm rolling my eyes, and like, guys, this shouldn't be the first message, right? Get him in the door. Get him in the door first, so that he can meet the people, and then introduce him to other games. Don't hit him with, "No, I don't play your games, play my games." I was like, guys, well, we gotta jump. Tune down. Anyway, here's something for your Poland trip. If you see one, buy a bottle of Diet Kofola. Yes. Hydratus Dominatus, and it's a Hydratus Dominatus to you too, my good sir, with CZK50. Thank you so much. Too kind, gentlemen, or gentlewomen, or gentle others. We've all got to stay hydrated. That's for sure. That's for sure. Thank you so much. I'm catching up with chat. Nothing says power move more than walking up to a table and tell them you're just going to run your opponent's models instead of your own. Yes. I feel like that's a Magic the Gathering thing. I don't know what's happening. I made a display base for my Wrecker crew with 3D printed backdrop, which was clearly inspired by the Octarius terrain, and entered the painting contest at Warhammer World. Kill team event 0k. Yeah. They care the absolute least about using non-GW stuff. Warcraft was the best one. Warcraft was the best one. I don't know one what, but I do agree. Seminal. Artificially inseminational for me, if I had to say it so. Absolutely loved it. It obviously led to World of Warcraft, etc. Yeah, big fan. And I will say, additionally, Burning Crusade was the best expansion. Moving on. No need to debate it. It's just factual, objective facts. Anybody that says otherwise is obviously getting banned. Just finished. I've not finished painting my commandos. Might steal your scheme. I do like it. Go for it, my man. Go for it. It's gotten some looks, so that's fine. Using the Recruit Edition starter kit that came with 16.6 Necrons. Oh, right. The starter set for 40k. Cooked up my Chronomaster. Very cool. Can't argue with that. Nice. I can still find Blood and Zeal. I suggest you buy one, pick up a team, and sell the other. Yes. I like my orcs grey-black, like the professor intended. No, you've lost me. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was thinking the professor was a character. You obviously mean Tolkien. Fair play. I'll accept it. I don't. I don't. I'm thoroughly a green orc, but I will accept a red orc. I have now decided. This week, I guess. I don't know. It'll change next week once I'm bored of this project. If you think snakes can't be thick, you should look into XCOM 2. I have played XCOM 2. I don't remember them being thick, but I'll believe you. If you think you say that, but the Fulgrim snake was caked up, was he? They, sorry. Okay. Okay. You know what? Maybe it's just me. You know I'd be all about that Marathi snake, though, am I right? I think we all know that's the OG thick snake. So. Yes, the Arbites are remarkably caked up. Yeah, I can't tell you for why, but I guess they hit the gym, right? You got to be ready for those squats. Hello from the Philippines. Hello to you. You have an unpronounceable name, but I'll call you 30R. There you go. Hello, thank you. Thank you for watching. Did a live stream, Ace versus Dan. Oh yes, that's true. Yeah, that wasn't me though. But yes, you're right. I have done that. Slanesh can make anything cake. Yes, that is true. That is very true. Dante Coat. So how many squads of Hormigants do you own now? Oh, only 2. I only had 1 before then. Yeah. You've got to remember, although I've had every army at some point, I recently, a year ago-ish, moved house and I sold a lot of models when I moved. So, yeah. Lost all of them. And Tyranids were one of the ones that went. Do the boxes of Brutal and Cunning and Blood and Zeal show where their terrain, like the maps that come in the Tac Ops did sets? Yes, they do. No. Brutal and Cunning does. Blood and Zeal does not, because it's just one statue and it just says put that in with other things. Also, I must be psycho for wanting Blood and Zeal. It does feel like a lot of people don't want it, yeah. Oh, it didn't seem to sell as well, is all we can say. When will we see Astartes affected by Slanesh and Kill Team? Well, we don't know, do we really? That's the problem with Kill Team, right? Kill Team has no roadmap. They may never ever give you Slanesh Marines, or they might be the next box. We have no way to know. And they're not going to tell us. Gentleman's fine, but it's good you're inclusive. I do try to be inclusive indeed, thank you. More likely to be Slaneshi cultists than Astartes. Yes, that's fair. Another set of Space Marines does seem a little bit low on the totem pole for next things, but you never know. There is a reason that my local RPG club makes sure to have games of D&D running despite most of us think it's a god-awful system. Yes, no, exactly. You got to get the new players in the door, for sure. Any tips on creating a community for a new game? I want to play one-page rules, but there are no players in my city. Oof. I had my phase of being the Kill Team champion for my local area back in Kill Team 2018, and I decided I don't want to do that anymore. However, I think one that's gone quite well is, to me, there's a local guy, Brewster, who is in chat often, has done a pretty good job of drumming up business for this for the local scene to him and over. He just pushed really hard, but if you have nobody wanting to play, your step one is finding people to play. So you got to post in random forums, haven't you? But the key there is, if you do ever find someone that is local enough that they are willing to travel to where you're willing to travel, you then need a way to capture them. A Discord server is a very good way to capture many people, and it's very low effort to get into. Yeah, I don't know. How do you find the people though? I don't know. I think sadly one of the options has to be play 40k, because you can probably find 40kers and hope that you make genuine friends with some of them and then move them over to the other system. So if you're willing to play 40k for a year to do that, then... But if you genuinely can't find them, just play a better game. There you go. Or play a different game. There you go. It is what it is sometimes, unfortunately. Toon is much easier. Thank you, Toon. Eddie, best thing about WoW was Leroy Jenkins. he's probably, do we think Leroy Jenkins is the most famous thing from WoW? Or is it Mr. T with a mohawk Night Elf? I'm not sure. I feel that Leroy Jenkins went beyond the computer gamer crowd, perhaps, and so you might say, who is Leroy Jenkins? Not to a full normie, obviously, but definitely beyond the MMO crowd. Like, a casual gamer probably has heard of Leroy Jenkins, I would guess. I don't know. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Needs Slaneshi Elite have trauma after Infinity Glass Cannons. Yes, let's. I would like some Slanesh models, to be honest. That would be cool. That would be cool. BC best is absolute fact. Even I can't bring myself to be contrarian about that. A shocker from Major Tom. He's dumbfounded at my objective facts. I will say BC speaks to me. I was doing my druid mainly during BC, and it was a time where in heroic dungeons I could tank as a moonkin. It was janky, but it felt like there was some real creativity in the spec at that time. You clearly weren't meant to be doing it, but you could, and I got groups as a moonkin tank. I probably didn't get groups often, but I remember doing it. There you go. Good fun. Good fun. But, you know, I'm always a bit of a casual. I never got into raiding, really. I was always a dungeon grinder, so good times. Moving on from the WoW chat. You play as ginger-haired soulless Alfie, ally. Your opinion on WoW has limited value. Yes, ally all the way. Which is then obviously crazy that I'm now doing the orcs, right? Like, here's my orc boy right behind me. I'm painting orcs, but I'm at alliance 100%. 100%. They're just better. They're just better. Sorry, guys. Soz. Soz, not soz. I will say, orcs are cool. I do not like their building aesthetics, though. Yeah, that's the killer for me. The aesthetics of their buildings makes their villages, towns, etc. really dull. Just not my vibe. Whereas humans always have pretty fun villages and such. Best expansion, TBC is certainly up there. It's hard to call it between. I knew you were gonna say Roth. I think most people liked Roth the most. Yeah, Wattlg. Which was supposedly their most played expansion, so it does make sense. But yeah, Mop had a huge drop off though, and I have to confess, I was one of the drop offs there. Not because Mop was bad, to be clear. It just coincided with life. I stopped playing around then and didn't come back till Legion, really. Mark started with Plasma Spam Guard and played a lot of GSC. Although COVID ended my attempt at Whips and Flames. GSC, I did main demons. Yeah. Okay, if you say so. Yeah. I do remember GSC. I don't remember Plasma Spam Guard though. That's beyond me. Glutes for the salutes. Hell yeah, Plastic Eater gets it. That's what I like to hear. Here's a quick challenge for you on top of your head. On the top of your head. Sorry, this is from Endras Ghost RT. Here's a quick challenge for you. On the top of your head, if GW asked you to come up with the way to make a kill team of custodians, how would you work it in? No, you can't treat with sisters basic humans. Oh, okay. So it has to be all custodes? So the easy answer here is, firstly, they are the retired custodes. So they're not full custodes, right? That's how you're getting around the fact that they can be beaten. And I would say, basically, you get 3 Broodlords. There you go. And maybe, once a turn, they have a mission action, which is something like sticky objectives. You know? So even so, or, you know, ultimate denial of the Emperor. Something like that. And it means that after you've actioned on a point, or after you have finished an action on a point, no enemy can move onto that objective. Basically, it becomes impassable terrain. Like, it becomes hazardous terrain. So you can't stand on that for the rest of the turn. Something like that. But then obviously they're heavily limited by the fact there's only 3 of them. But they would be the Broodlord, so you'd have 4 APL that you can split up, so you actually still get 6 activations. I don't know. Just throwing it out there, right? There'll still be, you know, saving on 2s, hitting on 2s, 5 up invuln, all this, you know, or ignore piercing 1, all this crazy stuff. Their armor ends just under the cheeks too. Yes. It's like they've been watching gym TikToks and they're like, ooh, I'm going to get those booty shorts. Yeah. Jodin, I'm really hoping there might be some Hormigans on eBay after this. I imagine there will be. Yeah. It's not a bad shout to get loads of them now. Oh, T-Sons as well. That vaguely rings... Yeah, I recall T-Sons, yeah. Also, is he have no cult troops? Can't use the normal ones? Yeah, that means we're going to get Slaaneshi cultists. Lame. Oh, well. Not kill team related, but I just realised I read your book, Demi Heroes. I really like... Thank you. When you say you just realised it, does that mean that you accidentally read it just as a random thing and you stumbled across it and then separately you stumbled across me? Or you saw that I wrote it and you read it? I wrote that when I was 27, a decade ago, a youngster. So full of life, vibrancy. But thank you for reading my book. It was my first book. I wish I'd put more effort into it. Not that I didn't put effort into it, just... Oh, yeah. I had notions of a very different publishing life and world when I was unaware of how things go. I love chucking pumpkins at people. That is a thing you can do. I know Leroy, not the other. That makes sense. In WoW, not real life. To each their own. I don't judge. I've been flip-flopping on which team to take to LVO. I'm thinking Pathfinders, but Crew have also been popping back up. I think Pathfinders are the stronger team at the moment. But... yeah. End of statement. Sorry. There's no but to that. Yeah. It doesn't mean they're going to win. But they're pretty solid, I think. I was very into raiding. I was main tank for a 25-man guild raiding a Tankadin, a classic paladin. Love a pally. I think the thing I like the most about paladins is their consecrate ability. Just looks awesome. Yeah, don't know why. Speaks to me. Great class fantasy, as we would say. Warthog for the win, you know it. I played a troll warrior for the little while that I played WoW. Maybe about the first 6 months on releasing what? I think it was 2004. That definitely sounds like the right one. Which I think was also Dawn of War. Damn, what a year. Jesus. The name Jodin came from Average Joe Human Paladin. Oh, okay. There you go. We're living, we're learning, we're loving, we're laughing. Thank you. Don't want my friends to drop lots of money on KT, so I buy the teams now. I just need to trick them to having the test game to see if we like it. Then we can look into joint ops. That's actually, sorry, that's an additional follow-up question or statement for wanting to get other people into a new game system. You need both armies, obviously. Yeah. Now, with one-page rules, you can say, oh no, just use your 40k models. That's fine. Because it's literally designed for that. And that's how they get 90% of their players, I'm sure. But, yes. Having multiple armies is mandatory if you're being the champion. Oh, Blood Elf. Are you even a Horde if you're Blood Elf? Kind of like Alliance. Horde Light. It's Alliance, basically. Let's be honest, you know. Mop was the diamond in the rough. Huge drop-off. Played it almost... quite interestingly, everybody agreed Mop sucked. And it killed the game. But now, people look back at Mop and say, oh yeah, it's really good actually. In the same way that they do for every expansion. Every expansion kills the game. And then 2 expansions later, everybody looks back and says, oh, that was a really good expansion actually. In the same way that we're now doing for Star Wars, where we're looking back at the prequels and saying, they were actually really good, you know. Whereas at the time, they were like universally hated. So yeah. It's fun how life repeats, I suppose. I was also a mop drop off for real life reasons. My daughter was born as Mop ended. I can't remember why I fell off, but I did. But yeah. So I know of Enchroma glasses. I've never tried them, and I've never cared, if I'm honest. The only thing it stops me from doing is painting this specific orc. Because once I've figured out the colour scheme, I'm sorted. It doesn't matter. I will paint everything else the same. It's just this orc. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Oh well. And Chroma are a scam. Well, there you go. Maybe I won't buy them. They're not cheap, I know that. Oh, so spam the chat and the number goes up. Right. Yes, that's right, Major Tom. Correct. Yes. You get points for every time you send a message or do a super chat, I think. The crowds mean nothing, and they don't carry over between streams. They're pointless, yes. If they did a Custodians kill team, I would want some sister signs on the team, like 4 sisters. Yeah, so that is exactly what I've said in the past, Count Poro. It would be 1 retired Custode and 4 sisters. But the challenge here was no sisters. So, yeah. Nice hangout. Thank you, Andy. Now to sort out bedtime. Good evening, all. I've told the cookies are all eaten. Well, thank you very much for hanging out. Die. Enjoy yourself. Have a good one. See you on Saturday with lots of Typhon chat. TY Plastic Eater. Yep. Yes, I read the book ages ago, going through an indie read phase. Then I got into Kill Team and found this channel and saw the book in the background. That is a very unique way to know about me, because I've sold like 0 copies of all my books, right? Like they didn't do well, you know, so that is really, really niche. To the point that I like, how did you even find it? Because I didn't pay for advertising at that time, and I didn't like spam it around Reddit or anything, because it's really hard to do, otherwise I would have. So the fact you found it is bizarre in itself. But thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed it. There you go. Yes. Annoyingly, it released before Kings of the Wild, and Kings of the Wild did what Demi Heroes but better did. Yeah, so there you go. But that is a very indie phase. So obviously this was asked before, but how is the schedule for the full info on teams looking? So Saturday, yeah. Assuming we don't get any leaks, which I'm kind of assuming we're going to get some leaks later this week, just because that's how things tend to go, which obviously if it's a genuine leak, I don't talk about. But there you go. But otherwise, everything, all the rules will be revealed by reviewers on Saturday at 10 AM GMT. And then the team releases 2 weeks later. And that means that it will be in the app on the Wednesday before it is in people's hands. There you go. That's normally how that goes. Yes. Blood Elf. I would just jumped into chat, but agree with you, Count Poor. Half big guys, some sisters, maybe a few normie human. Yep. Agreed. I want Custodes too. That'd be awesome. Most people seem to move on to OPR's own models after a while. Yeah, makes sense. You know, I think that most people are in wargaming for the models these days, and so every system needs their own models is my hot take. I know there are games that don't do that, but if you want true buy-in to your system from a larger market, having cool models I think is mandatory. Blood Elves were the fancy new thing when I stopped playing. That is a long time ago. Yes. TBC, yeah. Except Legion. Legion was fire, to be clear. Oh no, it's jumped. I collect 2 sides for games no one else plays. Yeah, you've got to, indeed. Recency hate is a real thing for sure. Yes, no, for sure, agreed. Mop is the WoW version of Pokemon's Gen 5. You've lost me on the Pokemon. I don't know which Gen 5 is. Only the patricians and scholars get. Yeah, true. Speaking of Mamorpgas and Star Wars, did you ever play Star Wars Galaxies? The answer is yes, but I genuinely don't remember. I think I played a beta, because I didn't have to pay for it, I think, and then yeah, I didn't get far. I don't really remember how it worked, but yes. I first got into Kill Team thinking it's just smaller and cheaper Warhammer. It's very different, and I also spent way too much on models and shit. Well, you will be seeing a reel come out sometime this week, which is playing on exactly that joke. There you go. Does that mean everyone will like the Disney? Yes. Huge. I guarantee you in 10 years, you will have the people that were kids when they watched the new trilogy and therefore liked it because they have low media literacy, just as we did when we were youngsters and watched the prequels. And they will say that actually the sequel trilogy is pretty solid. I guarantee it. It's just how people are. People are dumb. And people love nostalgia more than anything else. Multiple armies for several games so just your wife can play. I get that. Yeah, I'm more, yeah, when you can talk her in, yeah, we can talk to get into it. I'm doing the same. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just a light casual game. It's fine. Just, you don't have to learn any rules. I'll tell you all the rules. Oh, sorry, Ramiro. Yes, that's why we're talking about World of Warcraft. I'm painting a fell orc. I've taken an Iron Jaw model because I have a bunch of Iron Jaws boys lying around, and I'm obviously doing it 40k because that's the system people actually play. There you go. So I'm painting a fell orc and complaining about my color blindness and why it's so difficult because I'm red-green colorblind. There you go. So where you see a vibrant red and green, I see a really muted brown, which is fine, but it then throws off the rest of the model because it's not actually a muted brown. And so as an example, when I first saw this, my first thought was I need the silver, the armor, to be a lighter color so that the dark brown stands out more. But then everybody's saying, well, no, it's a really light, bright, vibrant red. And I'm like, what? So that's the actual issue with the color blindness isn't, I can't see red. I can paint Blood Angels red. I can put that color on a model, right? It's more, how do I then modify the colors around it to make it stand out as I want it to? But yes, it's a fell orc. Correct. Listening to you guys talking about WoW is about as incomprehensible as I assume it sounds when I talk about Kill Team. Yes, apologies, yeah. Some things shouldn't be in Kill Team, including Custodians and my beloved Harlequins. Well, the Harlequins won't be in it for long, so we're sorted. I want Kill Teams because it means that we get more 40k models. And I can continue to fantasize about having 40k armies. There you go. Because the spectacle of a 40k army is amazing, you know? So. Ulrich has the Typhon box confirmed. Lovely. Well done. Love the inspo. I was painting my Mandrake. Says Illidari. Nice. Nice. Yep. It makes perfect sense. They look like they are demon hunters, let's be honest. Even though they're actually demons. Ooh. Scathing. Scathing. Oh, the thought of trying to get people into other games. I tried that with Imperialis, but my friends were not having it, still trying. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Totally different scale, you know. Definitely tickles a different part of the brain, I feel. For Sauce, I would want the beast handles for Kill Team, but hints our custodians are getting some huge changes for 40k. Oh, interesting. Okay. Cool. Custodians in Kill Team, maybe like Knights in 40k, aka a bad idea. Well, maybe, but you can make anything work, right? You just, good luck doing it. Obviously, you can't say what the rules are, but are the AdMech a 500 IQ Galaxy Brain Excel spreadsheet and an Abacus team, are they actually playable? So you got to understand that I'm a very casual, chilled out amateur player, right? So I can't even tell you how the big brainers are going to be playing them. So it's really hard to know where they're going to like place power level wise and how like the big guys are going to do, like how they're going to do at top tables. They might just not have the gumption, or maybe they do. Either way, I wouldn't really know because and I don't really care. However, they performed relatively well for me. Into Raveners. I only played them into Raveners, to be clear. I didn't win every game with them, but I won more games with the Battle Clay than I did with the Raveners. Oh, Gen 5 black and white. Nice. I think Harlequins and Admech are the best for kill team. Their models require too complex painting skills for bigger games. That's a fair point. It's all about the hobby after all, and what looks good. I quite like the look of the Admech in that they can assert pressure even with expended ops. Yeah, so they can, as we know from the Warhammer community article today. Yes. Maybe there are some limitations not entirely stated on that yet. Maybe not. Who knows? But yes. Old Republic Online was the good Star Wars MMO. Oh, yeah. Yep, Star Wars Old Republic. Never quite gelled with me. And I don't know why, because I did like everything about it, pretty much. But yeah, it didn't quite work. Saw Revenge of the Sith when I came back to cinemas a few months ago. Expected it to still be bad. It wasn't great, but it was a fun watch. Seeing Yoda fighting powers must have been mind-blowing in 2005. Yeah, I'm going to be classic, exactly what I just said people do, but I think the sequels were fine. The prequels. I think the prequels were fine. There you go. Good cinema. Nice. Yeah, I can see Lego being a good system to build models on. Makes sense. You've got a lot of customizability to it, right? I saw Revenge of the Sith when it came out. I've just read that. How have I jumped around? And people say I make my own life hard with hobby projects. The Warpsmith and Dark Apostle needed to round out my Iron Warriors Legendary team. Just landed. Time to get hobbying. Love to hear it. I'm not going to say your name, but let's get hobbying. Nice. Warpsmith and Dark Apostle, two great models. I would say Dark Apostle much cooler than Warpsmith, but if you're doing Iron Warriors, you've got to have them, right? Have you seen the Clone Wars TV show? I maintain that it makes the prequels hang together like a real story. No, I haven't, which is why I'm so totally lost when it comes to all of the Shatterpoint models. Never seen any of them. Bizarre. What the most bizarre choices ever from AMG about which models to release, right? But yeah. I'd love to see you paint a team without help with colours, only looking at the paint. Ooh, that'd be a tough one. That'd be a tough one, actually. But because obviously I always look at the paint. Like, I don't even look at the colour of the paint. I look at the name of the paint. Say, oh, this is the red. Cool. Yeah. Like, one of my most used paints on so many models is, of course, Snakebite Leather. If you took the name Snakebite Leather off of that pot of paint, I would not be able to find Snakebite Leather. 100%. Which is quite amusing. Go from whiner to whiner but hot. Yeah. And I have a question. Out of 10 people you introduced to Kill Team, how much of that do you convert into regular Kill Team player, given they have no Warhammer experience at all? Oof. It's a tough one. I mean, if they're coming to you, then they already have an interest, right? But there's definitely people that just don't return. However, if they've got their own models, it's like, okay, well, this is in the bag. They already want to play. They've already invested. Sunken cost fallacy is just going to take them all the way in, and I'm just facilitating that. But if they're like, oh, you know what? I'm just walking through the mall, and I've got nothing to do today, and I've walked in, and you're offering me a game, tiny amount's going to come back, right? Yeah. Obviously, you can give a really bad first experience to a new player, and that will turn them away, 100%. That's 100%. But I would also say you don't have to be like an amazing tutor and teacher. You don't have to give them, you know, a handy afterwards to make them come back, right? I think, in general, if you just give them a very neutral experience, they will probably return. If they are at a point of they've already kind of bought models, right? I don't know. But everyone's different. Hard to say, hard to say. Did GW let you play the teams early against regular people? Was that considered leaking? That would be leaking. Technically, yeah. Only it sounds like they're not going to be pointlessly complicated, which was what I was worried about. If I can play a team, it's probably not too complicated, I would say. Yeah. Jar Jar was a Sith Lord. Unconfirmed, unsubstantiated, I would say. I've only seen the Star Wars prequels, not TBH. Never got around to watching the OG trilogy. Honestly, that's fine. You don't need to. They were good for the time. They're not terrible now, but they are clearly dated. Yep. And you know what happens in them by cultural osmosis. As everything is in these days, the problem is if something's good, other people take it and then do it better eventually. So you will have seen a movie that is basically Star Wars, but better because it's more modern. So you don't need to watch old stuff, I say. It's cross my Lego for terrain. Yeah, that probably would be expensive. Is that the active Hydrasis tea? Yes, this is the active tea. But it's the right tea, obviously, but this is the active one. It's definitely a very, yeah. I feel like I'm meant to be going for a run in this for sure. A quadruple hello to Blitz the Airsofter. Hello, my good sir. Thank you, thank you. I'm skipping the Lego talk because I've got to catch up with chat. Sorry, guys. Any lore book? Do you enjoy lore? I'm a touch conflicted with lore. I don't generally like Grimdark in general. So basically I get into a faction on the tabletop and I'm like, wow, this faction's so cool. I'm gonna read a book that talks about this faction, and then I can just about make it through an audiobook for 40k or Age of Sigmar. I listen to Age of Sigmar too, and that's fine. It's good enough. But then what will happen is I'm kind of, slogging my way through and like, yeah, this is okay. This cool concepts, fine. And then I'll go and listen to an audiobook that I want to listen to, and I'm like, oh wow, this is so much better. This is so much better than whatever the hell I was doing with Warhammer. Jesus. So that's my take on it. There you go. Yeah. I'm not really a lore guy. I do consume quite a bit of it, just naturally, but I would not consider myself a big lore head, so to speak. If I had to recommend a single book to you, for me, it would be the Gaunt's Ghost series of novels. I think they're really good. There you go. Jar Jar in the TV show was recently confirmed to be a Sith Lord. Oh, was he? Fine. Cool. Yes, of course. I've seen both season 1 and 2 of Andor. Absolute banger. And then I did... Yep, I watched season 2 of Andor. Then I watched Rogue One. And then I watched the sequel trilogy. I thought I'd catch up on that. So that's the most recent things I've watched. To have them on the second monitor was fine. There you go. I wouldn't say more than that. Cool. Starship Troopers is a banger. There's no word of a lie, sir. Love that stuff. Major Tom, as always, using the term dated in a very, very strange way, but fine. Okay. Sure. Really, you didn't like the voices for 40k audiobooks? I think that people generally quite enjoy them because they tend to be quite deep, baritone English accents. And I think that people generally like those. There are definitely some winners and some losers, but in general, they've all been relatively acceptable for me, I felt. Unless you've been listening to a really weird one. Yep, I've read Infinite and Divine. However, I read it before everybody online told me how amazing it was. And so when I read it, it just read as much the same. And it really didn't spark much for me. So So I've actually loaded it back up in my phone, and I'm gonna listen to it again, paying a bit more attention this time, because yeah, it didn't really. I got it because it was the first Necron book, which is super cool, right? But it was just a bit like, fine. That's a normal 40k book. Fine, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to give it another try and see if I change my mind on it. Star Wars is just a poor man's Red Dwarf. I actually just listened to the Red Dwarf novel as an audiobook. It was actually decent, you know. Like, it's basically the first season of Red Dwarf in a novel. Not bad. Funny. Good. And you've got Chris Barry doing reading it. Yeah, I'd recommend that. Which of my books would I recommend? I'm not sure I really recommend any of my books anymore. But I guess logically it has to be Hope Engine, because that's the most recent one I wrote. There you go. But it's a lit RPG, because I deliberately wrote it to be a lit RPG. It was also the one that sold the most because of that. But lit RPG is a very, very specific niche. If you want generic fantasy, it's got to be Demi Heroes. But that was also the first book I wrote. There you go. So there's a lot of there's probably a lot of issues with that. There you go. Too busy hobbying. Not me, sir. Not me. The Infinite and the Divine book was so good. Got me. That's great. Glad to hear it. So you were not excited about Henry Hollywood? No, not really. Don't care. Don't care. It does feel like everybody has such a huge Warhammer geek boner for Mr. Cavill. I like him as a concept. He was cool as Geralt, you know. But like, he's done nothing to prove to me that he's any better than anybody else. I know everybody wanks themselves off and him off over the idea that he left The Witcher because it wasn't true to the source material. The problem is, different forms of media need to be presented differently. And if he was just railing against the idea that The Witcher TV series was not identical to The Witcher the book, that is not inherently a good thing. Different forms of media are supposed to be different. There you go. So I don't really know. I don't read into his life too much. It feels like everybody else online does when he's all the Warhammer fans. So we'll see. Hopefully he puts out an absolute banger of a Warhammer show. That'd be really cool. But I don't know. I will definitely wait to see what they do. It's still going to be years till it comes out. So maybe I've heard the wrong ones. Oh wait, talking about RoboCop. What's happened? Rewatched RoboCop a couple days ago to get the Arbites movie. Great movie. I have not watched RoboCop for a long time. Gosh, fair play. Maybe I've heard the wrong ones, but I couldn't deal with them. Devastation of Bull was the last, and the voice from Assistant I felt was bad. I'm not sure I've heard the Devastation of Bull's voice, but fair enough. Took me a while to realise that David Attenborough was not, in fact, a Warhammer mega fan. Sure. Yeah. The Last Bard of Cadia, my good sir. Hello, a question. How do I make the most with the Wrecker Crew side of the Brutal Cunning box? I heard that it has a lot of bits. It does have a lot of bits. If you're willing to magnetize, you can do everything. Alternatively, your one box, no magnetization build would be to build all of the melee specialists plus the Rocketeer, give the knob both gun pistols, and then build one more fighter, and that's it. There you go. But if you're willing to magnetize, arm swaps, super easy, no problem. The only 40k series I've really got into is Caiaphas Cain. Nice. Yes, I enjoy Caiaphas Cain. It is very samey. It's not a series or a book. It's not really a series, is it? It's just a character. Not a series that you should binge. Unlike Gaunt's Ghost, which I feel is very bingeable, Caiaphas Cain you want to use as a palate cleanser between other books so that you forget the exact same formula it uses every time, right? The themes of the original trilogy seem more common than the themes of the prequel, and the physical effects stand up much better than the CGI of the prequel's IMO. Fair enough. Obviously, there are advantages to using the minis and such, and camera trickery, as opposed to... oh, you're talking about the prequels. Right, I thought you meant the sequels. Fair enough in that case. Fair enough. I'm not going to go against the nostalgia of the 70s there, yeah. Big lit RPG phase, might get back into it. Nice, glad to hear it. I went through a phase of reading a lot of lit RPG whilst I was writing my lit RPG book, but I then stopped. Post haste. Lit RPGs are my most common audiobooks. He Who Fights with Monsters brought me into them. Yeah, I've never read He Who Fights with Monsters, but obviously, aren't they on like number 9, like 14? There's a lot of those, I know, but never actually read them. Yeah. Going to try to make incursion boards soon. Do you have any ideas for inspo? No. That seems like a very dull answer, I realise, but no, I don't really know. Just think of a theme and do it. There you go. Trench board. That's everybody's golden goose. I don't know. Everyone wants the best looking trench board possible. But also make it modular, not fixed. And also have it work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tough one. Speaking of gold, I've run out of my Witcher Old Spice shampoo. Right. I've had to buy a different one because they stopped selling it. Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind. If I see the White Wolf over in Poland, I'll pick some up. USA Libertarian dives in. Trying to make it good doesn't guarantee it's good, but that is better than trying to make it bad. Yes, but to be clear, nobody is ever trying to make something bad. You might disagree with what they're trying to do, but they're not trying to make it bad. They're just trying to make it different. Should they be trying to make it different? Debatable. But again, different forms of media require the media to be different. Yeah. Hello, person. Hello, Grumpage. Who, by the way, your name now just looks very similar to Gromage from Expedition 33. So I might refer to you as that from now on. I am doing acceptably. I am still alive. So thank you. You too. Devastation of balls. Devastation of my balls. Nice. I thought about trying to make a kill team board, but I've been worried about how the terrain would sit on it. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Variety is the spice of life, and terrain layouts. Do you think there is a chance we would get a Chaos Demons kill team, considering how DW... So I've talked about this before. For Chaos Demons, I would love a new team. I think Chaos Demons are a fundamental part of Warhammer that should not be removed. But logically, they are separating all of the demon teams. And so what we should get is Sons of Bella or Shadows of Be'lakor, something like that. And they would be like, not mini Be'lakors, but they would be the elite demons just for Be'lakor. So you know how Be'lakor can go into all the different demon lists and armies because he is the god demon. His little crew should be able to follow him into all the different armies as well, and I think that would be a perfect kill team. There you go. It's my hot take. It's my hot take. I want to proxy a Dreadnought by using Ed 209 from Robocop. Do it. It works. He's basically a Dreadnought. Pre-Dread. Glad I'm not the only one who heard it. Yes. No, I said it deliberately. Yes. Indeed. Because bull is a very strange word. So, bull. I feel like you can't just say B-A-L-L. Bull. You got to say ball. And that word gets me into my southern accent. Ball. The devastation of ball. GW were really cooking with the rogue trader dreads. 2 bloodletter, 2 wizards on disc, 2 plague people, 2 sexy demons. Yeah. Bull. Yeah. Tough word. Don't like it. Never liked it. Never liked it. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you're willing to magnetize, you can do everything. Very factual, yes. So you can really know your book is writing your major. No, writing is a thing I used to do. I wrote my first book when I was 27. I'm old AF now. This was Demi Heroes. I wrote that when I was 20. Well, I started writing at 27. So I wrote that one. Each book took me like a year. Then I wrote Sanctuary's Fiend, which is urban fantasy. I'm a total urban fantasy Buffy the Vampire Slayer lover. Then I wrote this one here, which you can't see. And then I wrote this one, which is Hope Engine, I think it's called, which is Lit RPG, which is basically fantasy or sci-fi, or neither, but it focuses around the idea that you are playing a game. And so you're writing a book about a person playing a game. It's how the traditional lit RPG works. If you've heard, like, it's everybody's darling at the moment, Dungeon Crawler Carl, on all the fancy subreddits and Facebook pages I see. That is slightly different. That is a person trapped in a game show. So he is playing a game, but it's a thing. The more traditional lit RPGs, before it came a touch more mainstream, were focused around, you know, VR headsets, sort of thing. Yeah. And that also covers Major Tom's question of what is lit RPG. Lit is literature, RPG, role-playing game, literature, role-playing game. It doesn't make any sense. I know. Don't worry. I wouldn't even try to justify its existence. I actually binged Caiaphas came in audio form, but it was at work, so it was only partially focused on the book. Yeah, fair enough. I just feel they're all very samey. Yeah. Yes, they're isekais. So if you think of Sword Art Online, it's just an isekai, but the conceit is that he gets trapped in a video game. That is basically lit RPG, except you don't have to be trapped in it, but you get leveling screens, and that is a big part of lit RPG. If you want to be a bit kinder, you can call it progression fantasy. So it's very, very easy to see that the character is progressing, often with numbers. Yeah, there you go. It is what it is. An early staple of the genre was genuine stat screens, but like written down in the book. So you get to see the characters, the character's character level up. Which, by the way, when they put that into an audiobook, they did not skip reading. Yeah. Trench balls are hell to make. Totally agree. Ice Planet. Everyone does love ice. It's just white. It's like done. You've been called far worse. Glad to hear it. To be fair, I don't think it's a different form of meaning necessarily than intentionally making the soldier's armor and helmet look like a scrote and Bella and Lamau. Yeah, that's probably fair. I can't remember exactly what you're talking about, but I'll believe it. That isn't the writer's fault, though. And I think that most people agree, or the most discussion online focuses around the writer's room. And of course, that is what Mr. Cavill is bringing to Warhammer. He's the writer, he's not the set design, right? PJ it was actually a correct way to do it. Brought your vision to the new media, not your version. Oh yes, Major Tom. I agree. I think that is a good way to do it. I don't think it's mandatory though. Like, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I would argue that if an author of a book that gets sold to become a movie gets to be involved in the creation of that movie, they actively should change it. You know? Like, yeah. Some things in audio form or in visual form or in book form just don't work in those other forms, you know? A real ball ache. Yes, very true, Brewster. Very true. Yes, true. I am a child. That is fair. That is fair. I don't feel it, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Not quite, Major Tom. Not quite. You don't get to make choices, but you could argue that the person inside the main character is playing that. Sure, they're playing a computer game that's so VR enabled that it's, you know, it's like real life. My favorite lit RPGs. You know what? I genuinely can't remember. Yeah, which is such a lame answer. The ones I read at the time, they were all so niche as well. It's not like I was reading what is now like the big mainstream series that have continued going. I'd have to go check what they were. I was reading one where he was a necromancer, but he was also a bit of a dick. And it was like, what's this guy doing this? Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that one sticks out to me. I obviously also read The Land. Yeah, I genuinely can't remember much about the time where because it was probably for like a year where all I listened to was lit RPG, probably. Konosuba. Okay, yeah, I'll believe it. The Mahanenko doesn't ring a bell, but honestly, a lot of the lit RPG authors do seem to have non-English surnames. Yeah. Andy, how many times do you play Kill Team in a week? Do you prefer Kill Team over Big Hammer? Or do you prefer other hobbies beside? Do I have other hobbies? No. I used to. I do not now. I've letting my YouTube channel get away from me a little bit. I can't lie. It takes a huge amount of my time. Yeah, more than it probably should, especially more than it should for the size of my channel. I will happily say that, and that is something I need to work on. I should probably either make my YouTube channel actually good and sustain me, or I should spend less time on it. In truth, but I normally play once a week, sometimes twice. If I'm prepping for a tournament, I might do 3 times a week. But yeah, I normally average once a week, I would normally say. Although since I've had Typhon, I've played it a little bit more. Have I? Yes, a little bit more. I prefer it over Big Hammer because I think it is genuinely a better rule set. But games aren't all about, are the mechanics better? Yes, it's taken a long time to catch up with stream. You know, like I will say every damn time, like, yeah, I recently did a picture for my community post, and I had my table out with some of my favorite looking miniatures just because they look cool, because that's what gaming's all about, really. And none of them were Kill Team models, right? Kill Team's the better game, but you know what? Sometimes putting just a whole army on the table and rolling 50 dice, sometimes that's cool. That's cool to do. There you go. So, do you want a good game, or do you want something that's cool? Now, I often think that Kill Team is also a cool game, so it's fine. But sometimes I want a cooler game in a specific way. That means I've got to go to Sigma or 40k. I have relatively recently, kind of made a decision that I'm going to stop playing and looking into and building models for and buying models for things that are not GW games. Primarily because I just don't have time to do anything other than one game, Kill Team. But if I do, then logically there should be a reason beyond just playing the game, which would be creating YouTube content for it. I already have a YouTube channel for a very niche game, so logically if I were to do a YouTube channel for another system, it would have to be a system bigger than Kill Team, which really just means Sigma and 40k. So, yeah. It's not that I would never build the models for other systems. Like, I've got my War Machine there because I think the War Machine's awesome, right? But when it comes down to just practical time, if I'm not building towards the potential of a better future in the form of a bigger channel, I should just do something else with my time, is my view. Now, that could change tomorrow. I'm very up and down with what I think about things. So I know, right? 10 minutes and then we're off. Caught the end of chat. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Space for a bit, so I have to rewatch. Yeah. Oh, you missed some gems, no doubt. I hope you like talking or listening to World of Warcraft chat. We know you'd recommend watching the live unlive. Yeah. If it's unlive, you get to skip forwards. Yeah, Battletech doesn't do it for me. I don't like their mechs. You know? They don't really speak to me. Sounds kind of sad to you. Can you not just enjoy a game? It's a very fair question. No. There you go. I can enjoy one game. I can't enjoy multiple games. Sorry. I don't have time to enjoy multiple games. So I could stop doing YouTube, which would give me more time. Then I can enjoy Kill Team and then do something else. You got to fill your time. Otherwise, you know. I think my biggest fears in life are dying, having accomplished nothing, and being unable to support myself and sustain myself. So I like to do things that hopefully accomplish both of those goals. As you can tell, I tried to accomplish something with releasing books. That didn't go well. And now I try to accomplish something by having a YouTube channel. Which, you know, we all have our own definitions of accomplishing something. But obviously the YouTube channel earns me money, and so that kind of leads into the idea that I could sustain myself with it as well. So it kind of ticks two boxes for me. And to be clear, I enjoy what I'm doing. I have fun playing Kill Team and wargaming and all this stuff. So they tick a lot of boxes for me is all I'm saying. There you go. But yes. Trench Crusade. Eddie and Kaz are leaving, I see. So thank you for hanging out, you guys. I am also signing off momentarily, but Trench Crusade. I'm not against Trench Crusade. It's a bit of a weird one. I generally don't like Grimdark, but I hear good things about the rule set. Seems nice and light, and that's cool. Light and fluffy. That's cool. I do like that sort of rule set. But also, I don't like Grimdark, and it's very Grimdark. And but then on the flip side, I love the trenches from War Machine, because just the concept of World War I trenches plus fantasy, just I really enjoy. So I would play Trench Crusade. But again, there has to be a purpose for me to play it, right? I'm not just going, well, I would play it, but I wouldn't make content for it or like have it be a regular game for me, because it then actively detracts from the other games that I need to play for my YouTube channel. So yeah. I'm not 100% against it, but maybe. Kaz leaves. So the little RPG series I read this are in English: MC's Path, Where the Shaman. I've heard of the Where the Shaman. I know that definitely rings a bell. Not sure about the NPC's Path. Thank you to Eddie. I have games I love that I get to play once or twice a year. I still get stuff for them though, more than for Kill Team this season. It's fair enough. That's awesome. We're all on our own journey. That's all. Still need to finish the Blood Bowl team. #1 Kill Team channel on YouTube. You say baby. I read it as today and I was like, oh yeah, true. My accomplishments are as many as they are consistent. Nice. And CT has to go. And I also have to go. There you go. We shall finish with hydration. Hydratus Dominatus, everybody. Thank you. Superb. This has been a stream. I am now going to go straight to bed because I have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning so that I can go to the airport and drive myself to the airport and park somewhere I've never parked before. And that's going to be interesting. So thank you very much for watching. If you make it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow, so wholesome. Truly the wholesomeness knows no bounds in the world of Glass Half Dead. Excellent. You will, assuming nothing goes wrong, you will see me next Monday live, but don't forget, Saturday, all the Typhon drops. Have a good one, everyone. Really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Let's get some hobby done. Have a good one. Goodbye. If I could figure out how to turn off. There you go.